a city shaken to its core, a collapsed 5-story block in Cali, a faint voice from the rubble. Yes, I'm here, I'm with a baby. More than 200 dead. Colombia's worst earthquake in a decade. In the Cali's collapsed building wreckage, a purple-faced infant, struggling to breathe, was pulled into the light. The baby's color and breath came back. The death toll has not stopped climbing. An extraordinary rescue has emerged from the devastation left by Colombia's powerful 7.4 magnitude earthquake after volunteers and emergency responders pulled a baby alive from beneath a collapsed apartment building in Cali. The earthquake, which has killed more than 250 people, flattened buildings across western Colombia and triggered a national disaster, has now entered its third day of rescue operations as crews continue searching desperately for survivors. Brian Osorio Zuluaga, who stopped at the site after rushing home on his motorbike, said he called for silence and heard a man's voice rise faintly from the debris. Yes, I'm here, I'm with a baby. Osorio and volunteers lifted a concrete slab together to reach the pair. He described the moment the infant emerged.
You can see the baby's little head there, which, at the time, looked sort of purplish because he couldn't breathe. Once we started removing the rubble, the baby began to breathe, and his color started to come back. Unity is strength. Because no one person alone could have lifted that piece of rubble, it's better to act than to stand still. Every bit helps.
The baby boy was handed to a police officer and taken to an ambulance. The man found alongside him, his arm bloodied and still partially trapped, was subsequently freed. Rescue teams also pulled a woman alive from rubble in Cali to the cheers of onlookers. While in Pereira, one of the hardest-hit areas, volunteers and emergency workers formed human chains to clear debris from a collapsed apartment building. CNN correspondent David Culver said rescuers on the ground included ordinary people in athleisure wear and tennis shoes working alongside professional teams. In Choco, Colombia's poorest region and the earthquake's epicentre, an indigenous leader told CNN that outside help had still not arrived. Victor Chamapuro, leader of the Wunan Indigenous Reserve Buena Vista, in Choco's Litoral del San Juan, reachable only by a 5-hour boat journey from the port of Buenaventura, said the community's homes had been leveled and its people were sleeping outside.
All our houses are on the ground. Where are we going to sleep now? We have to be alert now. We're sleeping outside.
Chamapuro called on authorities to send food and medicine, saying at least one community member had been injured. The earthquake is among the first major crises facing Colombia's new far-right, President Abelardo de la Espriella, who took office only last week. He announced economic relief measures on Tuesday, including financial support for displaced residents to cover temporary housing costs. The European Union mobilized its Copernicus satellite service and pledged funding to assist the response, the bloc's foreign policy chief Kaja Kallas confirmed. With rescue operations still active and the most remote communities yet to receive aid, officials have cautioned that the death toll is expected to rise further as teams reach areas that remain cut off. Rescuers in Colombia have pulled a woman alive from beneath a collapsed hotel after she spent 36 hours trapped under rubble, providing a rare moment of hope as the death toll from the country's devastating earthquake climbed above 250. Daniela Lago Sanchez was rescued in Pereira on the night of August 11th after emergency crews and volunteers spent hours searching the wreckage. The Bogotá Fire Department said its teams worked alongside firefighters from Pereira and the police emergency unit Ponalsar to reach Sanchez. Interior Minister Rodrigo Lara said she was receiving treatment at a local hospital. More than 40 people were still being searched for in Pereira. Another survivor, Carlos Esteban Rebolledo, was rescued in Cali after spending more than 20 hours beneath a collapsed structure. Rebolledo was discovered inside a void in the debris, with part of his body buried and one arm trapped. Rescuers painstakingly removed Rubble by hand before carrying him out on a stretcher. Initial reports described his condition as stable. The rescues came as emergency teams continued searching devastated neighborhoods across western Colombia, following the 7.4 magnitude earthquake on August 10th. Local estimates put the death toll at around 254 by August 11th, including 101 deaths in Pereira and 95 in Cali. Nearly 5,000 homes have been damaged, while dozens of buildings have collapsed. Nearly 4,000 people remain missing. In Quibdó, rescuers worked alongside residents to search destroyed homes. At least 6 people were pulled out alive in one operation.
Here, the work continues with the community and with the other emergency response agencies, because the most important thing is to safeguard the lives and safety of the people we believe are still under this rubble.
The disaster has hit communities already struggling with poverty and armed conflict, particularly around Choco, near the earthquake's epicenter. Hospitals, schools, roads, airports, electricity networks, and water supplies have also been damaged, complicating efforts to reach affected communities.
I am a victim here, from La Lorena 2. The entire block collapsed. Here we are. It was 8 families affected. The ones over there were no longer fit for anything. We need help, because we lost absolutely everything. We had people who died, but we are still searching, trying to find things of value or little bits and pieces of ours for something. We only ask for help, please. That is what we need most.
International assistance has begun arriving, with the United States allocating $15.5 million for emergency shelter, food, protection, and damage assessments. The Inter-American Development Bank has also made $50 million available for reconstruction if requested. Interior Minister Rodrigo Lara said authorities were concentrating resources on finding survivors and maintaining essential assistance.
We are focused on the immediate task of saving lives, guaranteeing the arrival of rescue teams, bringing in medical supplies and field hospitals.
But with communications still disrupted in some areas and dozens of people unaccounted for, the priority remains the search beneath the rubble. For families waiting beside collapsed buildings, the rescues of Sanchez, Rebolledo, and others have kept alive the hope that even after more than a day underground, more survivors could still be found.